Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show TV. And as you can see, we have a guest again. We have Ben again from the Why You Are You channel. Thank you, Ben. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you back. Thank you for being back for a second time.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for taking, for recording on the road. You are traveling on an amazing trip you guys are doing. That you're also sharing a few of that in your Why You Are You channel. And what an amazing trip, and what a really incredible opportunity to be traveling for a long time.
We've gone to Europe about 2 months ago, and then about 2 weeks ago we traveled 6,000 miles in a car, which was just bananas. But we went down the west coast of the United States, into Canada, back around, got back into the Midwest, which is where we're from, and then a few days later headed out to Virginia, which is where we're at right now.
Okay, incredible. And if you don't mind me asking, where do you guys were in Europe? So I love Europe. I've been there many times. So
we put in work there too. We drove probably 4,000 miles through Europe, but we flew into the Netherlands, went down into Brussels, went down into Italy, right? France, Germany, and then we found a way in Denmark and got our way back to the Netherlands again to fly back home. So we made it to, I believe, 8 countries in total, Switzerland as well. And got to see over the course of 2 weeks. And I had wanted to go my whole life, but one of the beliefs I have is that each of these places holds a frequency and energy field and expression. And I wanted to just see how people were living, tap into consciousness, meet people, connect. And, every time you travel, it shifts your worldview and you come back a different person. So I wanted to come back a different person, and we have.
I'm from Italy. Okay, I was born in Italy. Originally there. I think I've shared with you, yes. And when I was very young, one-year-old, my father took a job in Mexico. So that's the story. And for me, I love it. It's not that Europe is better than America, the US, Mexico, Canada. It's just, Canada is quite similar to the European lifestyle, but it's just a different way, simpler. They're not so interested in, like we were talking before recording of houses and that. They're not very interested. They spend a lot of time outdoors. They go on bicycles. Just different outlook, okay? Not necessarily better or worse, just different. And it's something I like very much. That what I like about traveling in Europe is, sure, you spend a lot of money for the airplane, of course. Especially, I know how much it was your party, but it's, my 2 boys and my wife is four tickets, so it gets a little bit expensive. And then the hotels that lately, as the boys got older, they're 16 and 19. We started getting 2 rooms, so it's double the cost. And I always try. What I try when traveling is staying, for example, at €100 price range for hotels. And they need to have breakfast, Wi-Fi, because I need it for work. And if I have a car, they need to have parking. So I set for that, and then you don't spend that much. Because in Europe, that's what you spend. And then during the day, it's free stuff. Museums are very, very cheap, if not free. I like a lot going to churches. They have beautiful art. And all of that stuff is free. I mean, there's a lot of, even in small towns. But sorry about the long introduction on traveling on that. Today, we want to talk about source energy, okay? And it's something, Ben, that you are something that you do that is, in my opinion, not very easy to do. And what about if you tell us?
Well, we're gonna debunk that today.
No, it's okay. I just feel it's something. It's quite amazing because yes, it's so simple, the concept, but
how do we do it?
How do we do it? And it's tapping something that, in different words, I've been sharing a lot. That's going into yourself, going into your connection to the creation, to the divine, to the source that we all have. This concept that we go through different, for example, I'm not going to go into religions and that, but this concept that we don't have a connection to the creation, we do. And source energy is really proof that we can tap into the universe, and we can tap into that energy. And it's something amazing, especially for people that have energy problems, or if you're just needing that boost. I'm just going to share a funny story, Ben. You probably haven't heard of him, but there was a guy in Mexico called the Foie. And he was it's quite funny. And you search it on YouTube, you're going to laugh. But he was drunk one time, and he was interviewed at the traffic stop. And he said that we have something inside us. He will say that this energy, we connect to the universe. He was talking about that in a more intuitive, less explored way, less elaborated way. But for me, it was so amazing because people made fun of him like that. Wow, what's that?
Yeah.
He's talking about that inner thing we have, this inner connection to the creation, that we can tap into that and discover that we are so powerful, so beautiful, and we can tap into that energy. So sorry, I've talked too much. If you want to tell us about source energy, please.
Well, I mean, the way you described it is the thing is we know about it. We operate with it, and whether we're aware of it or not, we are playing in it all the time. So the source energy itself, we experience as, you could say, like emotional states. You know, these are states of being or states of consciousness. And when we're in states of, you want to say like maybe elation or joy or ecstasy, these are some of the states we're speaking of. But the capacity to tap into that at any moment or any time is what you were mentioning before, seems difficult to do. But if you become aware of it and you know how to tap into source energy or source consciousness or God, universe, love, and light is what I'll say in the videos I do, then it becomes like not a big deal at all. Like among saints and holy figures, as an example, and this I'm going to try to keep it as secular as possible. They would be able to produce what you might call like miracles, right? Mm-hmm. And they would do things that were called siddhis, S-I-D-D-H-I, siddhis, which are called gifts of the spirit, clairvoyance, clairsentience, astral projection, you know, different things that we talk about, but the saints and holy figures, they have access to it. And my understanding was, reading from a few different books and a few different sources, like Yogananda's book, the Autobiography of a Yogi, it wasn't a big deal. You know, you just drink a little bit of your water, and the simple processes that had to unfold for your proprioception, for you to know where it is in your hand, to put it up to your mouth, to swallow it, to then have your body know what to do with that water. When you're tapping into what it is you are, you begin to gain access or faculties to things that are just available to us as consciousness, as human beings. But because we live in a world where we are under pressure, under stress, living in such a rigid way, we don't see this. Most of us are so sped up or so engaged in the mental processes or our problems that we don't slow down to a point where we are still and we can tap into this source consciousness that we're speaking of, which is consciousness itself. We're in source consciousness right now. What you and I might conceive of as source consciousness is really just then the flavor of it. And if we're talking about like the ecstatic states, or the states where you feel like spiritual or connected or high, well, that's still source consciousness. You're just vibrating in a higher consciousness state than someone who's, say, in a chronically stressed state or a depressed state or a sad state. These are all states of being. So as long and short of it is, if you want to heal, if you want to feel energized, if you want to be in flow, if you want to be a creator within your world that has some power, you have to tap into source consciousness, which you're tapped into anyways. But it's how you're tapping into it, the state of stillness that you occupy, in this place of inner peace. If you're able to walk within this place of inner peace, even for a moment, and you can stitch these moments together, you can begin to create of your own reality something different than what you've been living.
Wow, what amazing. I think people or viewers are going to ask, is it difficult? Is it something I can do on my own? Do I need to go to an expert, to a healing therapist or something like that? Are there any techniques maybe to it?
Well, if you send me a check for $1,000, I'm just kidding. It's something that we can all do. And there's this kind of tired trope that you hear within different spiritual circles. I've heard it within Buddhism originally, but it's the idea of if you take a log or a coal and you put it next to a burning log, or you put it next to a hot coal, the coal that was not hot will get hot, or the log that was not on fire will catch fire. You can be shown, and what I like to do either in the middle or towards the end of this discussion that you and I have is do a brief meditation, if you're open to it.
Yes.
And we can tap into source consciousness, and I can show an example of how simple it is. And when I do that with people, what I'm doing is I am getting into this mode of thought process or guiding the mind, but I'm also guiding the energy, and I'm going into a state myself. So, you know, if you took on a spiritual teacher, and again, keeping this secular, if you took on a spiritual teacher, or if you took on a mentor, you're taking on them because they're able to hold a certain state of consciousness. They have a certain array of information or knowledge or wisdom that they're sharing with you. And they're vibrating in a certain consciousness state that you're wanting to vibrate in. We do this too when we go into a field of work. Like I was in the field of functional medicine and chiropractic. So I went into a field of consciousness that was functional medicine and a field of consciousness that was chiropractic. If you're an engineer, you're going into the field of engineering and you're baking yourself in that field of consciousness, and you're putting yourself around other mentors, other teachers, other people that are already vibrating in the rhythm or in the pattern or the expression as a conscious being of engineering or healing or whatever it is. So it's just vibrating in a state where you are vibrating in a state of inner peace, inner stillness, quiescence, unconditional love. And if you're unable to do it, you can entrain or entangle to someone who is. And you can be like that log that is burning next to the log that is burning. You can catch on fire. So I have an anecdote, and it actually came from today. If I can briefly go off in a different direction.
Sure.
But before we talked, I was saying we're in Virginia because we're possibly looking to move out here, and we got a real estate agent as of this morning, and we were looking at one of the homes that I could just tell that she was open. So at a certain point, I started talking about consciousness with her. I started talking about what we want to create within the world, and then I said to her, because she's starting to get tingles all over her body. I said, and I'm empathic. I can feel people when I'm talking to them. I said to her, "You're getting tingles over your body right now." And she said, she's looking at her arms and she said, "Yeah, I am getting tingles over my body." And I said, "This is what we're talking about." And I said, "Can I do something with you?" And she said, "Yes." So I had her, I have a microphone that I'm kind of cradling right now, but I had her take her hands and I ran energy into her hands, which I'll show here in a moment. And then I had her pay attention to the top of her crown. And she started to feel these tingles move through her body. And I said, "This is your soul, your consciousness, your light. Can you feel it?" And she said, yes. She had like just tingles all over her body. And I knew her for maybe an hour, hour and a half at that point. She looked me in the eyes and she said, "I just love you guys." And within like a minute, I said, "Well, can I give you a hug?" And I hugged her. The separation in unity and oneness was not there because we had opened the doorway to connecting at higher states, but I could see that she was open. And she had never had this experience before, but she didn't have to have this experience. We are hardwired for it. We're hardwired for deep, spiritual consciousness connection. Otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. Otherwise this conversation wouldn't be interesting. But it's something that seems esoteric or out there for a lot of people. And if it could be explained and shown, then it could be something that people can tangibly connect with. I myself, 15, 20 years ago, was an atheist, or at least agnostic. I didn't believe. I was more scientifically oriented. I went through a lot of health issues, just like we talked about before. You had chronic fatigue, I had chronic fatigue. And because of that, I had to start looking at the world differently. I went down pathways. I saw shamans. I saw chiropractors. I saw energy workers. I saw all sorts of, anyone who said they could help me, I listened to. And through that, I found my pathway to connecting on a deeper level.
Yes, and what an amazing story of the it was the realtor, right? The one that
the real estate lady, yeah.
Real estate lady, yes.
Yeah.
Something similar happens to me when I notice I'm so eager to talk to people, and but I notice 90-95% of people I talk in real life. I talk in real life, you know, not through the internet, not through Zoom. They are very exposed. We're very into this reality, as you say. We're all with a lot of issues. It doesn't matter how you're fixed about the job, financials, even health. We're all just going at 1,000 miles and we don't even notice it. Okay. I'm including myself as a matter of respect. I don't necessarily are like that, but most people, let's just say it like that. Most people, especially in a big city, I live in a very big city. It's close to 6 million people. It's the third largest city in Mexico. So traffic takes 2-3 hours to cross it, sometimes in traffic. And people are always late. Good meetings are always, they don't seem to have enough time. Then at the end of the day, well, you are so, if you have put in work or, whatever, you want to have some relaxing time, some fun time. So even if you're very tired, you go out. Like last night, even if it was Sunday, that's why I'm a little bit tired today as well, because I was invited to watch a soccer game. And we were late, but we're having a great time. So we're all like that in the sense that I think we don't slow down. As you say,
and that's the key right
stillness,
there.
The stillness. We don't slow down, and we don't really appreciate that connection, as you said. And I'm sure for the lady, being a real estate lady, she's always into showing properties and being, I have another meeting across town in 30 minutes. So hey guys, think about it. Let me go. And a lot of people are like that. And then the sad part is you go like that through years. I'm talking high energy people as well, because some people are just high energy and they go like that, and then suddenly your life is gone, and you're 60, you're 70, you're 80, and where's my life? I never stopped. I was never still. I never slowed down. Okay, so for me, I've been sharing a lot, Ben, lately, especially on my channel. I share with you, I have a Spanish channel. I'll show the Alex for anyone speaking Spanish. I'll show the Alex. The link is on every video description anyway, and the channel description. And I'm sharing on that one as well, that think of your life like if you're going to die today. And it maybe sounds a little bit impressive, like, hey, are you talking about death? Do you want me to die? No, think of your life like if you're going to die tonight. Okay. And suddenly you have a peace and you have a will to enjoy every second of it, but not in 1,000 miles per hour way, in a contemplation way of saying, wow, I'm part of the everything. I'm part of the creation, and I'm here having this amazing life. Doesn't matter the problems we have, but when you start living second by second, moment by moment, in the moment, when you really don't put that much weight on the future, because a lot of people are so vested into the future, the retirement, and I need to do stuff, and I'm 30, so if by 40 I'm not a millionaire, I'm done, and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. Live today. You're 32. Live today. Live today. You might not get to 40. Okay, I know it's the percentages are probably that you're gonna make it, but live today. And of course, I'm not saying be responsible and spend all your money, not like that, partying or whatever. No. Truly enjoying the moment of contemplation, okay? Which I think is what you're saying.
Well, it's being here and nowhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my forays into consciousness and spirituality. I had a nervous breakdown at 30, and then I was essentially not bedridden, but I didn't leave my bed for about 8 months or so. I left my house very rarely, except for to go to doctor's visits. One of the doctors I went to said, "You're too in your mind." I didn't know how to get out of my head. So he offered me The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I read that book, and it was like a slap in the face. Each page was like a slap in the face because I felt like it was a personal affront or personal assault on the way I was living. I got done reading it. I read it again. I dog-eared it. I highlighted the pages. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. That was just the tip. But what that helped me with was what we're talking about right now. There's only this now moment, and the future doesn't exist. And something I like to share as a teaching, this is something that was shared with me many years ago, is your future is predicated or based upon your past. So your future, all the projections of your future are based upon your past. Your past is based upon this moment. So if you live this moment well, you're erasing your negative karma or your negative past. And then when you're thinking into the future, it's based upon the past that you've lived well. So there's no fears. You're facing your fear in the moment by being here. A lot of people want to escape. If you're able to be here, and you're able to be here well and really, really be here, then whatever past you're creating from this now moment will not project a future that you're worried about and you're thinking about all the time, which is robbing you of this present moment. Moreover, if you're living in the past and the future, i.e. you're living in your mind and you're not here, you're not embodying, you're not aware of what's happening around you, you're missing out on all these different clues or all these different opportunities or possibilities that are here and now. So if you're stuck and you're fretting and you're thinking about, oh my God, next week this could happen, you're not seeing that in this now moment, a door might be opening up for you for this possibility that could help you avoid or get through something that could be potentially damaging or scary coming down the line. If I live this moment well, I'm able to see the room in all its angles. I'm able to see there's multiple doorways. I'm able to see that there's windows. I'm able to see many different pathways. And I'm not relegated or stuck to just one way. But this rigid thinking we get to, you and I were talking about living differently, moving to different homes, doing things like that. This next home that we move to, I'm going to live in it differently than I have before. I'm thinking about starting a practice where I'm doing energy work again with people. Just doing it when I feel like doing it and doing it in a very open fashion, but I won't run the practice the way I ran a practice for 12 years. I'll be doing it differently. And if I'm living every moment more consciously, more presently, then when I get old one day, I won't have to look back saying, I really wish that I had lived my life, because I will have been a part of my life. I will have not been anywhere else but here. But I would meet people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s who are still afraid to die. I met people in their 90s that were afraid to die because for them, even though they live to be 90, they're living in this now moment continuously. So, they have not experienced this longevity of life. They've in many instances just experienced being afraid to die their whole life. If you can be present in here and you can feel the full essence of your being, the full essence of your consciousness, you don't fear death anymore. And if you reach transcendent states of consciousness where you become one with the universe, which I've flitted in and out of, I'm not in all the time, but I've gone into states of pure consciousness, you realize that there is only life, that you have transitive states of your being. You take on a physical body, you leave that physical body. But you as a consciousness cannot be separate from creation. You can't be separate from life, and you can't be separate from all that is. So the fact of the matter is you are life. When you go into a state of pure being or pure consciousness or the now moment, you're connected to life. And when you live from that place, there's nothing to lose. You don't live from loss. Only through time do you live from loss.
And totally agree, by the way. And you were mentioning people that are afraid of dying. And, my father is 79 right now. And it's not like he talks about that all the time, but got a little health scare. And
yeah.
And he's he's a beautiful father. He was a great father, but we don't relate. He doesn't know about my channel, and but he's that type that he's 79 and afraid of dying, which I'm not saying that he doesn't have any courage, by the way. It's a different thing completely. It's not lack of courage. It's the fact that, first of all, I think on this experience, we are consciousness, we are a spirit, and having a physical experience. That's beautiful, but very difficult at the same time.
It is.
And there's an agenda that we don't talk much about that I call the egoic mind, or it's referenced as the egoic mind, that the mind has its own thinking, that it either knows it's going to die and it's the end for the mind, because the mind doesn't go with spirit when we die. Okay, that's very well known. And as an animal, it's very afraid of dying. So sometimes I always say that we side between spirit and flesh, and there's nothing wrong being a lot of flesh and little spirit. There's nothing totally right to being a lot of spirit, little flesh. But, you can make it very easy on yourself if you understand, like you were beautifully explaining, that we are something else, that we're going to keep going. It's not that we die and we're reborn. We never stop being. We'll never stop being part of the creation, never. So it's just going to be a change. You're going to leave this body. You can have another body, that's called reincarnation. Yeah. You can go into a pure spirit state, that's a different thing. The one that I hope we all experience soon, and one time and another is going to the omnipresence, is going to the oneness, is going there with source, it's going to experience the sheer love, what Peter Panagor explained to me. I was experiencing the pure love, which is not affection, it's not attachment, it's not what we experience in this reality, okay? I know it's beautiful loving your children, it's beautiful loving your spouse, your parents, your friends, everything. Yes, I know, but the sheer beautiful connection to the creation, to the oneness out there, that is when you go there and you are preparing, setting up yourself to go somewhere else. Okay. But when you understand all that, then as you say, what am I afraid about? Now, let's be honest here. I do think that when we all gonna die, we're gonna Peter Panagor, that he has died 2 times. He was in his 20s out there in a mountain, and he was 2015. He mentioned heart attack, so he's probably in his 60s or 50 something. Pain. There's gonna be a lot of pain. So he said we're gonna be afraid of the pain physically. We only experience pain in a physical form. That's why now that we're really going out there, and I'm loving it, and I hope you can go out there with me, Ben, is this concept that the spirit learns through pain. No, why? The spirit learns in a different way. The spirit is always in a beautiful form, okay? It's this physical expression that we're having, that the one that experiences pain, worry, the one that goes through that things. So, yes, for sure, that being afraid of dying, yes, we're not dumb. It's going to be painful and it's going to be fearful. There's going to be, but then as the near-death experiences share, you transcend, you leave the pain, and then the beautiful part starts. So, yes, it's like getting a needle, something at the moment that it's going in, it's like, oh, okay. Especially me, I don't like them. So you're experiencing that pain that something is going through you, but then it goes away, okay? What do you think of that?
Well, so you touched upon a handful of things I'd like to touch upon.
Sure.
One is the egoic piece, because what you said is something I feel like is true until we're able to transcend, and that is the ego is indispensable. It's a part of us. It's our survival reflex, or our survival mechanism. But identifying with the ego is where we run into problems, right? And what my wife and I call it is aspects of self. So you have the sad self, you have the depressed self, you have the part of yourself that believes I don't have money and resources, the part of yourself that believes that you're sick. And these are all the transitive selves. These are all the parts of yourself that you don't, as you said, take with you. How absurd would it be if you like soccer or football or whatever it might be called, if you like something, for you to carry it with you for eternity? Your consciousness is what you're carrying with you, your energy, your life force, your connection to life. But identifying as this piece that is transitive, this piece that can't live forever, is where people get stuck. And they get stuck in this belief that they have to hold on to this when they have never been in a fixed state. Like at one point you were a toddler, another point you were in grade school, another point you were in high school, maybe college, then you were in your 20s and your 30s. We're talking about a different Alex right now. We're not talking about the same person. And yet it is the same essence of who you are, evolved and changing. And so one of my teachers would say that this is the Earth School. We come here to have our lessons and our teachings and to grow and expand. The way I see it is that we are multidimensional beings because all of consciousness taps into all dimensions and all states. It is the ocean, and we are a drop of that ocean in one point of space and time, you could say. But to live heaven on earth, as it were, just to borrow, or Shangri-La or utopia, we have to be able to embody our spiritual essence or our consciousness state into this form, into this space and time. And the way we do that is surrender, slowing down, recognizing which self we're identified to. If we are believing that we have problems, or believing that we are these problems, or believing that we are these emotional states, we can become stuck in that state, and we can spend a whole lifetime trying to solve the same problem. And the problem of it is this: where's the love? That's what the problem ultimately is. Where's the love? Where's the unconditional love? Where's what I know to be true? What you mentioned with Peter, and Peter's story is he experienced a state of love that has no name and has, you can't put a label on it. It is something that is so experiential that him putting a word to it doesn't necessarily even do it justice. We know that intrinsically because it is a part of us. It's something that is indispensable to who we are. And when you reach ecstatic states, be a near-death experience or a point where you just completely surrender and tears come down your face, or you are inspired in such a way, or you give birth to a child, or whatever it might be, you transcend the small selves that are trying to survive, and you reach the true self, which is transcendent, the true self that can't be destroyed, the universal I, the universal one, the universal seer, doer. You know, in Taoism, they would say that you are not the doing, you're not the doer, there is a universal doer that is actually doing through you. And when you reach a point of surrender, you reach a point of flow, and everything comes through you with ease. You're not trying necessarily, it's all being done. But it's reaching that, and that's part of my practice every day, is to recognize which part of myself am I identified with. Am I identified with a part that will not be transcending another 5 years or 10 years? If I am, I can be with that part of myself, and I can experience what you might call an ego death, or a dark night of the soul, which I did over the last month, where I just faced a part of myself and brought love and brought stillness and brought connection to a part of myself that did not know love, did not know connection, and did not know stillness. If I can take that to my practice, or take that to my meditation, or take that to my life, I can transcend space and time and move to my universal self in this expression. And every time I do that, I expand as a consciousness, or I expand as a being here on earth. And it allows me to live a life that looks vastly different than the life I lived before.
Thank you. That's amazing. I'm a little bit speechless. So, go ahead, please.
Oh, I do want to share something else.
Sure.
Do you ever? This is something I go to often, and it just makes it easier to see. But if you look at Hinduism, if you look at Christianity, if you look at Buddhism, every saint has what? They have a halo over their head. The saint or deity has their hand out like this, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're covered in blue. Sometimes they're, with Christ, you have like the heart is glowing. Mm-hmm. And one of my teachers said that this is, and this is something I teach as well, these are open secrets. And they're open secrets because they're showing what your ascended state or your state of pure consciousness might look like. So your Buddha state, your Christ state, your Krishna state. Mm-hmm. And it's the reason why you see every religion and every school depicting these figures in the same way. They're not organized together, but they're organized universally based upon universal principles. And it's not a coincidence that different religions across different continents, across different times, came to the same conclusion. So when your crown opens, your crown chakra opens, which requires first that your heart chakra opens or your heart center opens, mm-hmm. then you experience these transcendent spiritual states. And the hands, which is how you give and receive in the world, when they open, your heart opens and your crown opens as well, which is why you see when people are praying or people are running energy, they're doing it with open hands and they're doing it with open hearts. That's how you open to these higher faculties of consciousness. And there are exercises you can do and practices you can do and mudras you can hold and all sorts of different things to get there. But I just wanted to speak to this open secret that's available to anyone that can see it. Any depiction, any iconographic piece from any religion will depict a character such as that. And it's showing what is otherwise an open secret. And if you experience that, you know exactly the blueprint to how to open yourself up to that expression.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot about the hand as well. And it's, we're getting into a lot of stuff, but, as you say, with healers, it's a way to manifest energy in a way, if I can say it in that word, to make the energy flow through the open hands, always the open palm. It's also, I think, a sign of tranquility, is a sign of non-violence. I also heard that, I don't want to get into dark stuff, but people that have to deal with demonic entities and that, mm-hmm. they say in that state, when the demonic entity is very forward with, they want to hurt you or anything like that, you say, hey, stop. And suddenly the demonic entity is like, wow, like if you had a gun in your hand or something like that.
Do you know why that is?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you want to share that, sure.
Yeah. So this is a fun story. I'd actually taken this from Aaron Abke, and he had taken it from the Law of One series by Ra. It's a channeled series from, I think, the 1980s. But I'm going to talk about dimensional states of consciousness, which is going to get a little bit in the weeds, hopefully not too much.
Okay.
As through darkness or shadow, you can ascend to what they were saying, fourth or fifth dimensional consciousness, but you hit a brick wall. Why do you hit a brick wall? Because you're not accessing all of the centers. You could think of the dimensional states too in the terms of chakras, right?
Okay.
But if you skip over the heart center, you're not unified. You can unify without the heart through the mind, right? But not fully, not completely. So when you're opening your hand or you're bringing unconditional love, it's like kryptonite to what you're describing as a demonic entity.
A low vibration, yes.
Low vibration. In practice, and I don't do this anymore, and it's not even necessarily something I subscribe to anymore, but it was helpful at the time. I used to clear entities from people. I used to clear energy from people. And when I would feel that in people, because I'm highly empathic, when I would feel that in people, it would scare me. As a child, I would see spirits, and I shut it off.
Okay.
But I shut it off because I was scared, and I had no frame of reference. And then when I got into healing, I was turned on to it by some people. I started working in those capacities. I don't expect everyone to buy this hook, line, and sinker, but I did. This is just what I did. And this is what I'm sharing. But from that, I reached a point where I was not trying to clear entities from people anymore. What I did instead was I loved. I brought myself into a state of loving compassion, loving kindness. I brought myself into a place of light, kind of like we did with your hands. And what that would do is it would transmute the energy, it would bring it back to source. It would move it back into an undifferentiated state. It would move it from a place of density to light. So a demonic entity, whatever you want to call it, a heavy energy, a state of sadness, a state of anger, whatever your title is, you can transmute it through love and compassion. And we do that anyways. When we hurt, what do? We talk to a friend. They might hug and hold us. They might listen to us. We might cry, and then we feel better. Why is that? That's the transmuting of energy. That is taking density and bringing it back to light. And it happens when we unify. We can unify to someone who's listening to us and who cares, or we can unify by knowing how to unify inside of ourselves. We take that dense energy that we held, we transmute it into something that's light. And when we do that, we're not carrying it in our body, mind, spirit complex in our field anymore. The body's not tight. We're not holding pain within our body. And this is a big, big feature of healing. In fact, I believe to fully heal, we have to move into a state of unconditional love or inner peace or compassion or something that approximates to that.
Yes. And I've been sharing a lot lately, and I feel a lot of resonance with what you're saying. Because you're totally right. Everything is about love. And to these, what I want to call it, demonic entities, dark entities, low vibration entities, I see them as confused entities. Okay.
Yeah.
I see them as entities that they are going to grow from their confusion to be perfect. Okay. They're going to go back to creation. Okay. Because at the end, they don't come from a different place. They are still part of the everything. Okay.
Yeah.
They're just in a different state. It's like being in a line of a bank. You're the first one to go in, great for you. Yeah. And I'm the last one. Is that different? Okay. I'm going to go into the bank someday. Okay.
Right. So we're all heading there.
Yes, we're all heading there. So for me, I want to share, because I renounced violence for a while now. And some people even got a little bit aggressive with me. No, the system, we need to fight it. No. Mm-hmm. And this belligerence of trying, it came to me that it doesn't matter what you hate. Hating is wrong. It doesn't matter what you hate. There's no justification at all. It doesn't matter what you want to be violent to. Violence is wrong. It doesn't matter what you fear. Experiencing fear is the part that is the thing. Because we justify ourselves by saying, hey, these are demons. We need to destroy them. No, we don't. We need to send them more love. We need to be patient with them. We need to see them as they're going to evolve from their confusion. They're going to be here with us, because we don't know our full stories. We don't know our full stories. When you start looking, you do believe in past lives and that, right?
It's something. Yeah, I subscribe. I don't talk about it a lot, but it's something.
But let's just say that we don't know the full picture, okay? Because we remember this life, and yes, we probably have been. If we haven't been guilty of a crime or anything, most people. I don't want to say it about myself because it's arrogance. But most people, if they haven't been convicted of a crime, they say I'm a good person. But you don't know the full story. I've gone into past lives, and that's why when you mentioned Peter Panagor, I cannot know what he experienced. but I do know what he's talking about. Does it make sense?
Yes.
I mean,
No,
I experienced
it
it myself in a different way, in my own way. Okay. Yeah. I experienced it truly. Going through my past lives, I experienced the omnipresence, the void, it has different names. And also experienced the bad in a life, especially a life that I was very bad, very bad. A killer. I killed people, a lot of people. Okay. Yeah. And it was traumatic. It was something, okay. And it took me a while, but then at the end said, just a process. I mean, I'm in a better place now. Okay. Yeah. And it just, that's why I renounced violence all my life. That there is no justification to be violent. Okay. I know I'm still a human, like Peter said, we're actually on the show. Like if someone comes here and threatens my kids, I'm gonna be violent to defend them.
Sure.
Someone takes my nails off, I'm gonna be violent because I'm still a human. I still experience pain. Okay. I still experience the love for my children. I'm gonna defend them. But at the core, the thing is understanding that this good and bad, and we're better and we're ahead, and we're all in a process. And it doesn't matter if you're the first in the line or the last in the line. We're all part of the creation and we're all going to get there. So how about you try and love everyone, everything? How about that?
That's the greatest challenge for us. I mean, that what you're describing is the pathway, because love is the glue that brings everything into unison or into harmony or into oneness or into one. And as I'm evolving, I'm seeing the universe less as something separate from myself and more like I'm looking at a mirror that's reflecting me back to myself. So one of the maxims I follow with my wife is if I'm fighting on the outside, I have to be fighting on the inside first. So that's where I don't justify fighting, but I do set boundaries and I do communicate firmly into my world. There was a yogi, I'm trying to remember his name right now, but it may come to me in a minute. But he wrote a book in the 1800s, and he helped to bring yoga to the West. And he said that not standing up because you're a coward is one thing. Standing firm and setting boundaries is another, being a good householder, being a good husband. But not fighting, and not fighting within your world. In Hinduism, they call it ahimsa, or extreme nonviolence. But if I understand that what I'm interacting with in the world is a reflection of me, and that I'm actually connecting with a mirror. Again, in Hinduism, they had a term for it called Maya. And Maya is the creativity of the universe in action, or the illusion, depending on your perspective. But what we're interacting with in this substrate, they would call Maya, or illusion, or the creative power of the universe. And if I'm using my physical world as a mirror that's reflecting me back to me all the time, I can see whether I'm walking in inner peace, whether I'm fighting with my words, my thoughts, whether I'm in fear, whether I'm not in fear, just like I can tell if there's a hair out of place or not. And if I begin to walk in my world day in and day out, using the world around me as a mirror, then not only being everyone well, but I'm being treated well back. I'm creating interactions, I'm creating relationships, I'm creating a life that is built upon this love that you speak of.
Yes. When you were saying that, I was thinking when you were saying about the Hinduism and the mirror, I had a show, it's part of the inventory, it's still not out, I think. When I was saying about violence, and I made a metaphor, and I was trying to be a little bit funny, but it's like chopping your arm off, okay?
Yeah.
Like I want to be violent to someone, like chop your arm off, because if you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You see, you and I, and whoever is right now passing through my office, we are all the same thing. In a way, if you want to see it, if you want some independence, it's like brothers and sisters, okay? Because I understand if it's the same thing, some people have a problem with that. It's like, what? It's like we are all the same thing. Yes, we are. But if you want some difference, it doesn't matter you're in Africa, in Somalia, it doesn't matter you're in another planet. We're still all brothers and sisters of creation, okay? So all the energy we put into being violent on this world, if we put it in loving each other, what kind of world would we have? Okay, because then you also said something a while back on the show about living in the moment is also clearing your mind of all these conceptions we have. A lot of them implanted, okay, from the news, from the school system, from history, by learning history, but all these wars. So all of that goes into your mind that you kind of accept and say, hey, it's the world it is. We're at war all the time at each other. Okay, no, if someone comes and clears your mind, and you suddenly see, and if you're a Christian and you suddenly see a Muslim, a Jew, a Buddhist, an atheist, a Gnostic, whatever, you're going to say they're just people. I don't have a problem with that at all. But then if someone starts feeding your mind, you're a Christian, He's a Muslim. He believes a different thing. He doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. He believes in the Prophet Muhammad. So that's when, okay, so I get it now. So I must hate this. I don't like this person. I reject this person.
Yeah.
But if everything is clear, we are just people, and we're probably just gonna be fine with each other. So
what you're describing is the trap, because if I can say that you know, Alex, you're just like me, and so you and I are kindred, we are brothers, right? But you know, your neighbor, I don't like that guy. He's not one of us. He's one of them. If I create a them, I'm creating hatred. I'm creating separation. Yes. But I'm separating from myself. And then I'm taking my good energy, I'm splitting it. I'm saying Alex is my brother, his neighbor is my enemy. I'm splitting myself in half, where part of my energy is going towards my brotherhood with you and my connection to you. And part of my energy is feeding into creating more separation, because I want to keep that guy away from me. And I want to get him off the planet. So maybe I go to war with him, so that there's not as much of him as there was before. But when I go to war, I become just as violent as him. I become just as bad as him. I take on his sins to get rid of him. And I become him in trying to get rid of him, if that makes sense. I become the very evil I'm trying to get rid of.
Yes.
But evil, if we
justifying yourself.
Justifying.
Saying, that you know, they are whatever. So they have to be killed. They have to be, you know, whatever. So I'm on the right side, because it also, I believe maybe what I call the egoic mind, which is basically just the mind, but is the implantations on the mind, is this notion of being on the right and wrong. Okay. Yeah. And for me, I have totally liberated myself, because it's just a spectrum. Okay. As I shared, it's just a spectrum. So, I'm in the right and you're in the wrong. Well, I don't care. I'm sorry about that. I mean, you might care about that, but I don't attach by that. I don't need to be right anymore. And things don't need to make sense to me anymore. For years now, I've totally left that behind. Okay. My friend Tony from London has been on the show 40 something times. He has a metaphor, I shared it a few times, that you're out there in a rock, like in an ocean. You're hanging to the rock. It's the security of the rock, because it's what you know, it's what you understand, it's what makes sense. It's supposedly right that you hang to the rock, that you don't go out there to the sea, and then you leave, and you totally decide to live by your connection to the creation, by your intuition, inner intuition, by your heart, not your mind. You let yourself go, and then things, they don't have me anymore. I'm not trapped anymore. I truly don't care if things make sense. I truly don't care if I'm right or the wrong. That's why I share all the time. These are my intuitions, my feelings. I don't claim to be true, but also I don't care if they're true or not, because they're very true to me. And that's the only true thing to me, that they are my things. Like Peter said, this connection, this love he experienced, I get it, but through me, not Peter's one. I cannot experience his, but through me, I know exactly what he's talking about. And it's a little bit different. But I know through me, it makes sense to me. Okay, so
where we've gone with this conversation can bring us back full circle into source energy, and it can do so because the point you just made. In order to reach source energy, we either have to die, or we have to let go of everything for just a moment. And people that I've met who have had, you know, a transcendent state of watching a sunset, or a childbirth, or having a moment where their mind is just arrested and they aren't thinking and they're just in pure being. Those are moments where you could say that is a death of thought for a moment. And then they reach pure consciousness, or they reach pure source energy. But in order to reach it, the precondition is that we pause for a moment and we let go of all of our problems. One teacher, Muji, who has a YouTube channel and has a following all over the world, but his teacher would say, I will meet you, and I will meet you in a state of unity. But first, you have to let go of your name. You have to let go of your job and your title. You have to let go of your problems. You have to let go of any story you've ever had in your entire life. And then enter this room with me, naked, with nothing. No name, no story, nothing else. If you enter that room with me, you will know yourself. And that's the only condition that's required, but it only takes a second to do. And sometimes when I'm feeling stoved up, or I'm feeling like beset with thought, I give everything to universe, God, love, and light. I give it all away. I give away my children. I give away my work. I give away my money. You know, energetically speaking, I let go of everything.
I know what you're talking.
And when I'm not holding anything, I'm finally back to what is true, which is in that moment, the moment is perfect. There's nothing missing within this moment, except for me. And when I'm here fully in the moment, I can experience the splendor, the grandeur, the excitement, the light, the love that is waiting for us and is here all the time.
Yes, and if I can share my experience, the way it has happened to me is way more simpler than that. Especially at night, I'm sharing a lot that prepare for sleep. Sleep is so important because we go into an unconscious state, and there are a lot of stuff that is happening there physically. Yes, that's one part, but also spiritually. Okay, and we disconnect from this reality, so it's quite important. So before going to sleep, for the past few months, I've been sharing. I just go into my mind. I totally clear myself from this reality, and I say, I want to go. I want to meet you. I'm talking to Source. That's why I share. You have your connection, and Source, the Creator, your Father, is always listening. And the love for all his children, if you want to call them children, all his creation, is infinite. It's undescribable. You said it perfectly. What Peter said, what Peter experienced cannot be put in words. He tried. He tried to describe it, but it cannot be described. And you feel, you let yourself go, and you travel. And I can see it. I can see it better. And I can feel the love. That's why I understand Peter through my own experience. Okay. I cannot explain what he felt. But I can try to tell you, or share my story of what I'm feeling with that connection. Okay. And I feel so loved, and I don't feel judged, and I don't feel pressured, and I don't care if it's someone will say, oh, you're creating it in your mind. It's visualization. It's an astral thing, because an astral is demons, and some people claim that the astral is full of demons. Yes, there are some demons there, but not everything is wrong. And
there's demons here too.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
No, they make a lot. No, because the astral, all the astral. If you astral travel is you're playing with. No, you're not. And you might not be doing astral travel. You might be doing spiritual traveling. Okay, because this notion that if our spirit leaves our body, you die and stuff. I'm leaving my body when I'm doing that. But some say, no, you're still there. It's a projection. I don't care. As I shared, I don't care. Whatever explanation you want to give me, I'm the one experiencing it. And I'm feeling the sheer love of our Creator. And it's something so beautiful. And that's why I'm not afraid as well. I'm not afraid. I'm going to be physically afraid when I die, and I'm going to experience pain. Yes. But I know where I'm going. I perfectly know where I'm going. Okay, and it's not because I'm a good or bad person. Please, it's not arrogance. It's I will, if I could give a gift to humanity, I would love for everyone to discover who they are. Everyone to discover who they are. You are not a human, or you are not only a human. You are much more. And this is just an experience, which is good and everything. Okay, I'm not saying anything bad about the world. But it's so important to understand we're a spirit having a human experience. We're not a human that is going to have a spiritual experience if you're good and you repent and you, like religions want to paint it. Okay.
There has to be an openness.
Yes, sure. I was going to say just real quick, we're almost hitting an hour. So if you want to do what you wanted to do at the end of the show, this I can be your test. Test on me. Yes, if you want. Let's hope we don't hit any blocks or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be wonderful. No, and what you said there was beautiful and true. If you have an experience, you can't deny that you had an experience. And I could say to you, Alex, you didn't have that experience, and you could say, how do you know what experience I had and I didn't have? Exactly. And this gets into this subjective and universal state, because with near-death experiences, or even these states of deep, pure consciousness, that you tend to hear the same things, but it is subjective because you have to have your personal experience with it. It has to be something that Alex has. And when you have it, you come back down from the mountain and you say, I had this experience. It was amazing. Now you go have that experience. Because me putting words to it, I'm just pointing to the experience. You have to create that space, and you have to create that experience for yourself. So let's create this experience right now for you and I, and anyone that wants to do this as a listener.
Sure. Okay. So people that are watching can follow along?
Yeah, I mean,
as far as
energy is concerned, it's not bound by space and time. So when I would do like guided meditations, I would do them as live streams. People could watch them days, weeks, months later and tap into the energy. When you watch someone who's really, really excited and really engaged, it doesn't matter if they did it 10, 20, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, you can feel the excitement, you can feel the engagement. So if you want, you can close your eyes. If you want to leave your eyes open, that's fine too. What I generally have people do, open your eyes real quick. What I generally have people do is kind of hold your hands up like this, not in the air, but just kind of like where they're cupped. And it's like you're receiving rain coming down. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and close your eyes. Hold your hands up. Anyone Anyone listening can do this
too.
Like this? Is this something like that, just where your hands are open.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start connecting in deeper myself. And again, this is something I've learned over time. This has been something I practice, but something that anyone can do. So if you pay attention to your hands, you might start feeling a tingling sensation or a pressure within your hands. Okay. I'm running energy. You're entangled to me. I'm entangled to you. We're becoming one. Okay. So we're going to go through a little bit of a chakra clearing, working through the energy body. And we're going to work to bring ourselves to a point of unity or connection. So feel your hands. Feel you can feel a little tingle within your hands. I'm going to raise my vibration a little bit and see if the tingling increases. And if you're having difficulty with it, you can imagine that rain is like pouring into your hands, or light is pouring into your hands, and you'll feel that as a sensation. Okay? Now we're going to go through the whole body, and the more open you are, the more things will open up. So if you allow yourself to let go, if you allow yourself to release, if you allow yourself to surrender, you'll feel this more distinctly. But we'll go through your feet. So your soul chakras, your feet are open and relaxed. Your ankles and your knees and your hips. Good. Your root chakra, your tailbone is open. Your sacral chakra is open. Your navel chakra is open. Good. Solar plexus, front and back are open. Good. Your liver, your spleen, your heart chakra, front and back are open. Paying attention to your hands, noticing if you can feel the sensations of energy or tingling within your hands. Throat chakra is open. Good. The forehead chakra, the ajna chakra are open. And now pay attention to the top of your head. And I want you to picture a lotus flower, petals opening up, or a flower with the petals opening up. And see if you feel a pressure sensational on the top of your head. A lot of people do. It's not necessary. But if you feel a pressure and opening within there. Then we'll go through colors. So light red. Good. Light orange. Light yellow. Light green. Light blue. Light indigo. Light violet. Electric violet. And golden light. And white light. So while we're in this space, feel yourself slowing down. Anything that you're carrying, allow yourself to just let it go. Doing some affirmations, I allow myself to release. I allow myself to surrender. I allow myself to forgive. I allow myself to receive prosperity, abundance, good health. I allow myself to receive. I allow myself to give. And I allow myself to connect with and be this unconditional love, unconditional peace. As I feel my body slowing down, reaching a still point. I allow myself to take and receive this love, this light, this peace, bringing it into my body, bringing healing, bringing life, bringing connection, and bringing peace. Taking a deep breath and bringing that into your body as you begin to return slowly, bringing the breath in through your feet, into your ankles, into your knees, into your hips, into your pelvis, down your spine, allowing you to bring this love, this light, this peace, this healing into all the organs, all the systems of your body, into your mind, into your space. returning more and more to your body with each breath, bringing in love and light and peace with each breath you take in, bringing in consciousness, bringing in connection. With each out breath, releasing any tension, anything that remains, letting it go, letting it become light. And as an intention, as you're coming back in your body, anything you're wanting to bring into your life, anything you're wanting to bring as an intention, as a focus, you can bring into your body right now. Be it prosperity, abundance, goodwill, kindness, compassion. Be it creativity, something you're building, something you're creating. So whatever the dream is, whatever the intention is, may it be blessed, may it be suffused with life and light and energy. May you carry this into the world. And may you inspire and share with others. And may your good work and your good deeds and your good life bring a goodness into all beings in all life. So be it, and so it is. Returning back to your body. Very good.
Oh, that was great. That was great. I was so relaxed that I was falling asleep there at the moment, and then my wife called me. I don't know if you could hear the ringtone, but
it was time.
Yeah, no, yes, no, it was amazing, and for I don't want to end on a bad note, but a lot of people put this type of experiences and say, hey, maybe we're touching into darkness and that. No, this is pure. I don't know. There's really nothing more beautiful than what you said at the end, that, just send your love and light to everything and everyone. Okay. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and whatever the person's experience is, I've had people come to meditation. I've had people where I've offered, and free will, I feel like, is very important. If somebody doesn't want to experience something, I never push that upon them. But I would say to people, when I would get this question, I got this question quite a bit, I would say, if I'm living my life and I'm experiencing more joy and more peace and more love and less fighting and less aggression, and then what else can you ask for? So this is just my experience. This is just what I've experienced as a soul, as a human. And by living what I'm living presently, every day I experience more love and more peace. So yes. That's my guiding principle.
You're totally right. And it's something beautiful. I've never been more at peace in my life than right now. Okay. Oh. And I was never, belligerent or anything like that. But, just what I've discovered. Okay, that's why this is something I would love for everyone to experience. What I discovered on understanding who we all are. Because sometimes you say, what I discovered, what I am, then the arrogance, okay, maybe you're special. No. We're all equal, right. Okay?
Exactly.
We're like drops of water in the ocean.
Yes.
There's not a drop of water that is this big and a drop of water that is this big. We're all equally beautiful, and we're all equally loved by our Father. Equally.
That's the dream. The dream is for us all to walk as royalty together, all to walk in specialness or in light or in love together. Not one person to be an exception or one person to be special and everyone else not to be special.
Exactly.
It doesn't work. But for us all to walk in a place of connection where we honor the humanity or the essence of creation that exists within each and every one of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ben. For sure, you need to come back.
Well, this is an honor. I enjoy this. I want to thank you for opening up your platform and for for your open heart and for all that you share and all that you're doing. It's a great service to the world.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you. Me too, a lot. And if I would recommend a channel, it will be yours, honestly, in YouTube, because the level, some people might or not like what you have to say or your format or anything like that. That's always to liking. Okay. And that same with me. Okay. Some people have said that they don't like my own shows, that I just put an image there and support videos. Why I don't do it like podcast style? Because I'd rather put an image than face. Okay.
Yeah.
So just me. Okay. But everyone is always going to have a liking. But the sheer, I don't know, benevolence, the sheer honesty, just that beautifulness of what you have to say, okay, and the way you say it, for me, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. So unfortunately, as far as numbers and that I don't know. I know you don't care about that, but people still like fun stuff, still like, girls playing guitar songs. They like short videos. They're exploding short videos. That's why TikTok is so important right now. They want 1 minute stuff. They want 2 minute stuff. They don't want 20 minutes or they want 1 hour stuff. But by the way, for everyone watching, Ben's channel, Why You Are You, link is going to be on the video description, and please go on and join if you haven't done so. Amazing stuff. I'm very happy I found you. I found you through Terrence Howard, to be honest. I have to be honest. I watched your Terrence Howard first show, which went quite viral. I think you almost have 20,000 views or something. But then I started watching your other videos, and I love it. Honestly, I love your channel, and we have been missing you. You haven't been posting a lot of stuff lately.
Well, I got 2. I did 2 this week.
Yes. Well, I haven't seen one then. When was the second one? Today or yesterday?
Yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start posting more regularly. But I have a video coming out in about a day where I reference you and I give you thanks.
Thank you. There was one video you took down, no?
There was a video I took down. Okay. Yeah, I took one.
Do you didn't like something, or was everything okay there? Or?
Well, this might be a good discussion that we could do in the future. But it was on the Dark Night of the Soul. That video wasn't, but I was experiencing the Dark Night of the Soul. And I mentioned it before we recorded. There was a point a few weeks back where I was considering just taking everything down.
Yes. Yeah.
We all go through this. This would be a great conversation for another day. But we all go through this. What do you do with it when you're facing the Dark Night of the Soul? How do you transcend it? How do you heal it? And how do you continue creating within your life? But I was facing a dark point, and I faced it down. I went into it. And on the other side of it came this huge rush of creativity that has been flowing ever since.
It's like you kind of lost your voice, something like that. You were saying some stuff like that.
I reached kind of a little point of a brief depression, or a point where I had lost my voice ever so briefly. But every time you expand, every time you grow in some way, you have to face a part of yourself. If you move somebody, if you have them lose their job, they're going to go through a little bit of a period of time. And I was going through a transition because we're beginning to expand what we're doing right now. And as you put yourself out there, more and more and more, a part of you that says, are you crazy? You could get hurt, or someone could reject you, or whatever it might be. But all those voices come to the forefront. What do you do with it? And we could talk about that at some point.
Please go and join Why You Are You. Really, really, you're going to like it. If you like my channel, I think it's a given they're going to like yours. We're really aligned, different styles, but we're really aligned. I love the outdoor stuff. I'm sorry about that, Ben. I love aliens and that kind of stuff. I always loved it. And I think
it all belongs.
Yes, it all belongs. Yeah. There's a little bit of science fiction, but there's a little bit of truth there as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. You want to say something in closing?
I just want to thank anyone who watched this, especially to the end, for connecting in. Thank you for meditating with us and connecting with us. Thank you for your open mind.
Thank you. And if you still have the one, I'm talking to people watching, that you still have the possibility to rewind the video. If you went through the meditation and kind of didn't get it, what you should do, just relax. Just let yourself go. Listen to Ben. Listen to his instructions. Like he was saying, relax your knees and just visualize it. And some say that visualization is a mental thing. I disagree. It's something from the heart. When I visualize positive things, it's in 4K, super HD. I cannot explain it. It's more than this vivid thing. It's that's not the brain. There's something else. And I had a very nice experience. Thank you. It's just that my wife was calling me, and then I was almost falling asleep. But thank you very much, Ben. And for everyone watching, we have been gaining a little bit of subscribers lately. So I'm saying on the videos, if you haven't done so, please watch the last 2 minutes. I know it's a little bit out there, but it's my message to you, my suggestion to you, that you discover who you are. You are so much more. You are not only a human being. Trust me, you are so much more, but you have to discover it. I cannot share it with you. You have to discover it. Thank you very much, Ben. Everyone, have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breakthroughs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.